Hi guys, welcome to your second math lesson. This week we're going to be working more with place value and we're going to be working more with place value. So a few things to remember. I will post the practice pages as a link to print out if you lose your packet. So they'll be attached to the math lesson. Also included in the description of the math lesson, I will include what pages are covered on what days. We won't always go through all of the packet. There will be some pages that will be left blank, but we'll do most of it together, and you'll turn it in your folder on Friday when we do our materials swap. So we are actually going to be, so last week we talked about place value working up to 100,000s. Today, I'd like you to go ahead and have your packet handy because we are going to work through some problems together, and have a pencil handy. And we're actually going to be starting on page 23. So go ahead and turn to page 23 in your packet. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. It says 1, write the numbers 23,643 and 23,987 so that they line up by place value. Explain how to line them up. So I'm going to start by showing you guys how to do that. So first I'm going to write the first number, 23,643. So for this number, I have a 3 in my ones place, a 4 in my tens place, a 6 in my hundreds place, a 3 in my thousands place, and a 2 in my 10,000s place. So 23,643 is that first number. So now the second number is 23,987. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that each of my place values line up. So I'm actually not going to start at the front of the number. I'm going to start at the back of the number and start with the ones column as I'm lining it up to make sure that they line up, because I may end up having more numbers. So I'm going to put, there's a 7 in the ones column. There's an 8 in the tens column. There's a 9 in the hundreds column. There's a 3 in the thousands column, and a 2 in the 10,000s column. So if I were to line them up, we should have a number in each place value. Our commas should also line up, because remember, commas show the ending of one period. So once we have ones, tens, hundreds, then we'll have a comma. Then we'll have thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, then the next comma. So each of those commas shows the ending of one period. So I have 23,643, 23,987. So I've lined those up, making sure that there are no gaps. If I had my number shifted, and let's go ahead and just pretend that I did not line them up one on top of the other, and I had written it, oops, like this. Maybe my numbers would line up, but my comma wouldn't, and then I would also have an extra space. So whenever you're comparing place value, you want to make sure that your numbers line up really nicely with each other. All right, number 2 says, in what place value position do you begin comparing the two numbers? Oops. So we're still working with the same problem, the same two numbers. Okay. So number 2 says, in what place value position do you begin comparing the two numbers? Well, you're still always going to start with the greatest place value, And then you're going to look to the next place value each time to see which one is going to be more or less. So if I look at my first column, my 10 hundreds column, I see that in both numbers, they have 2 in the 10 hundreds column. They're both 20,000, 20-something thousand, right? So they're both starting with 20,000. So those are the same. The next place value that I look at is the thousands place, and they also have the same number, so 3 and 3. So both of them start with 23,000. So I'm going to keep moving my way from left to right, comparing the numbers as I go. So now in the hundreds place, the top number has a 6, and the bottom number has a 9. So I'm going to think to myself, which one is more, 6 or 9? Well, we know that 9 is more than 6. So our second number is going to be the one that is greater. I've compared my numbers, moving from left to right, and they had the same numbers until the hundreds place. Now looking at the hundreds place, I can tell that 23,987 is going to be the larger number. So number 3 says, what is the first place in which the numbers are different? Hundreds place is where they are different. And number 4 says, explain how to compare the numbers and then write the comparison using the greater than or less than symbols. Tell which game has fewer fans. So this is working from a problem from the original page. And we're just going to go ahead and show our comparison statement. So we had 23,643. And we had 23,987. And so now I'm going to use my greater than or less than symbols to compare. So remember, greater than, less than are going to be like those alligator mouths. And you always want your open side to be pointing to the larger number. So the alligator always wants to eat the larger number. So in this case, if I wrote it with my 23,643 number first, then I would have my less than symbol, because 23,000, if we read it left to right, just like we do when we're reading a book, 23,643 is less than 23,987. If I flipped them, then this statement would no longer be true, right? 23,987 is not less than 23,643. So I'm going to have to go ahead and switch to a greater than symbol. So now if I read it, 23,987 is greater than 23,643. It would be a correct statement again. We're going to go ahead and skip number 5. I would like for you to go ahead and do numbers 6, 7, and 8 on your own. So I'm going to wait for a little bit and have you do those problems on your own on page 24. So 6, 7, and 8 do on your own. Okay, now that you have done problems 6, 7, and 8, if you haven't done them yet, pause the video and go back and do them. Okay, now that you have done them, go ahead. We're going to go ahead and go over those problems together. So, number 6 says there are 2 baby macaw parrots at a zoo. Zeke has a mass of 1,582 grams, and Tao has a mass of 819 grams. Which bird has a greater mass? Use greater than, less than, or equal to write a comparison and show your work. So the first thing that I'm going to do to solve this problem is I'm going to write my numbers and line up each of the place values. So the first number I have is 1,582. The second number that I have, I'm going to start with my ones place. There's a 9 in the ones place. There's a 1 in the tens place. There's an 8 in the hundreds place. And that's where the number ends. So now when I go to compare these two numbers, I'm going to start with the first place value. And I can think of this as I have a 1 in the thousands place for my first number. But for my second number, it's like I don't have any thousands. I have 0 thousands. So which one would be larger, 1,000 or 0 thousands? 1,000, right? So if I were to write my comparison, I would have 1,582 is greater than 819. Remember that alligator mouth wants to point to the larger number. And the parrot that has a greater mass then would be the parrot that weighs 1,582 grams. And if I look back at my problem, I'll see that that parrot is named Zeke. So Zeke has a greater mass. Number 7 says write the symbol that makes the statement true and show your work. So we have two numbers, 91,146. They've written in a circle for you to fill in with the correct symbol, and 908,000 rather, 43. So it's kind of hard to see them when they're side by side like this. So I'm going to go ahead and stack them once again. I'm going to go ahead and start with my first number, 91,146. And then I'm going to start at the very right-hand side of my other number in the ones column. I have a 3 in the ones place, a 4 in the tens place, a 0 in the hundreds place, an 8 in the thousands place, a 0 in the 10,000s place, and then a 9 in the 100,000s place. So if I were to compare these again, I don't have anything in that for that first number in the 100,000s column. That's like 0. So my second number would be bigger. So you would have a symbol that looks like this. 91,146 is less than 908,043. So that's number 7. Number 8. Number 8 says which statement correctly compares two numbers. So the first one, you have 37,046 is greater than 37,064. So I'm going to start by looking at each place value from left to right and comparing each of them. So in the 10,000s place, they both have a 3. That's the same. In the thousands place, they both have a 7. That's the same. In the hundreds place, they both have a 0. That's the same. In the tens place, my first number has a 4 and my second number has a 6. So which one is more, 4 or 6? 6 would be larger than 4, so my statement is not correct. It says I have 37,046 is more than 37,064. But we know that the 6 would actually be more than the 4, so this would have to be flipped around to show the correct statement. So A would not be one that shows a correct comparison. So you could cross off A, because that one is not going to work as our correct statement. B has 37,064 is less than 37,046. So now they've changed the order of the numbers, and they've also changed the symbol. So it's still saying that 37,064 is less than 37,046. We've already established that 6 is more than 4. So even though we've switched it around, it still is an incorrect comparison. Okay, C says 37,046 is less than 37,064. So if I look at my comparisons, I have still the same numbers. So 3 is the same, 7 is the same, 0 is the same. So really I'm just focusing in on the tens place here. I have a 4 and a 6. This is saying that 4 tens is less than 6 tens. That would be true. So we can circle C as a true statement. But I don't want to just assume that that's the only true statement. I'm going to look through all of the options to make sure that there aren't other options that are true as well. So D has 37,064 is greater than 37,046. So again, 3 is the same, 7 is the same, 100 is the same. I'm looking just at my tens place. And so if I ignore all of the other numbers, is 6 more than 4? Yes, 6 is more than 4. So this would be a true statement. So D we would also circle because D is also true. Okay, let's double check E. So now it's saying 37,064 is equal to 37,046. So we know that we have the same numbers in the 10,000s place, the same number in the thousands place, the same number in the hundreds place, but our tens and ones are different. So can we say that 64 and 46 are equal? Nope. Same digits, but because our 6 is in the tens place and our 4 is in the ones place on the first number, and our 4 is in the tens place and our 6 is in the ones place on our second number, 64 is worth more than 46. 64 is a greater number. So this statement would not be correct. They are not equal. They use the same digits, but they are not equal numbers. All right. If you turn the page, you'll get to pages 25 and 26. Now you'll notice up at the top they're bordered in green. These are the green practice pages that we will be going over together on Wednesday when we meet for our small group. So go ahead and turn past 25 and 26. You'll get to pages 27 and 28. These are extra practice. So if you find after our Wednesday meeting that you have flown through the green practice pages and you want more of a challenge, then you can go ahead and complete 27 and 28, but those are optional. That's actually all we have for this lesson. So we will go ahead and talk a little bit more about place value for lesson 3 next time. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for our small group practice session. All right, bye.